Councillors, good evening to you all and welcome to our March planning meeting. Right, apologies for absence. We have none, so that's good. And declarations of councillors' interests. Any to report? Now, you are aware that there are two applications where we do know the applicants, one being Capenham Cottage, Councillor Peter Burden, District Councillor, and the second being One Harmony Drive, which is Steve, our town orderly. So we'll somehow write that into our declaration of interest that we do obviously know these two applicants. Right, you do now. So item 4 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from last meeting. Are we in agreement? I'll sign them off at the end of our meeting. We're proposers, Roger, seconded by Tim, all in favour of the minutes. Thank you. To receive the chair's report, I thought I'd just enlighten you with this, which is interesting. This is from Exelum, and they're investing $4.5 million in the UK SAF, which is the, I'll come to that in a minute, the blending of sustainable aviation fuel, there we go, up at Redcliffe Bay. So it'd be the UK's only independent sustainable blending facility. And this will be supplying the airports that we already know that it does in the area, including further afield at Gatwick and Heathrow and Exeter. So the energy logistics company plans to develop a UK-wide network of SAF blending hubs across its 2,000-kilometre pipeline network. The infrastructure will provide SAF producers and importers with market access to jet fuel for 40% of flights departing UK airports. The Redcliffe Bay facility is expected to become operational in 2026. Exelum estimates the initial investment will support the equivalent of up to 64,741 flights from London to New York annually. How they determine that precise figure, I just don't know. The announcement comes as the UK Sustainable Aviation Fuel Bill progresses through Parliament. SAF is a biofuel blended with conventional aviation fuel and used in aircraft without modification to reduce carbon emissions. So the stuff will arrive in Royal Portbury Dock, as it does at the moment, and then pumped up to Redcliffe Bay, where it will be blended on site. And I think that's probably all you'd like to know. Anyway, the rest of the documents here. And do we have anything else? We had this incident of the cameras being located on cab stand, which Bob, you took a picture of, and there are others around Portishead, I understand, being monitoring traffic flows. Is that correct?
Yeah, the company's called Charlie Survey Limited. They're from Harlow in Essex. Excuse me. The monitors went up yesterday. I gave them a call today, explained who I was. As I understand, they're only up for around 48 hours and they'll be coming down. But obviously they've not just gone on the high street. As I understand, they're on Knoll Road, Down Road, Tower Farm and the West Hill area.
Okay, right, fine, thank you. As you indicated, you felt that it was probably more appropriate that they that it notified Portishead Town Council that this was going to happen, which they haven't done. Paul.
So one of the residents on the Downs went and spoke to the people out there. So they are, the ones up there are on behalf of the developer. They're not in a particularly clever place because they're in a place where they want to capture more than about half the traffic because people turn around before where they've actually got the trackers going across the road. So they put them in not the best place really to capture all the traffic, but they are there on behalf of the developers, those particular ones. So we've the office has just gone through to North Somerset to ask them whether they've been given permission, because as Bob Bull, who's on listening in, told me, reminded me last time they put car trackers down there, they didn't actually have permission for them, so they were told to remove them again. So just a bit more information for you.
Thank you. Bob, you wanted to come back?
Yeah, I was just going to emphasise that if we can communicate with North Somerset Council with regards to permission, the reply from the gentleman on the phone was to imply that they were using them to monitor the traffic at the junctions and the build-up and the flow during the day.
Okay, thank you. Roger.
Yep. As a North Somerset councillor, I've had absolutely no information on this from North Somerset. So I sent an email in this afternoon to them asking for further information. So I'm awaiting a response.
Thank you. Right. That is, well, there's also, I've got here the North Somerset Local Plan pre-submission plan on my agenda, on our agendas. I don't have anything to add on that particular matter. Does anyone? No, I don't have any papers for that. Really? I've not received any. Oh. We'll pass on. Public participation. Got it here. Is there a conclusion here? Well, we know it's gone to the inspector, and we anticipate the hearings for the examination in public to commence this coming summer and autumn.
I do remember seeing this, but it doesn't actually. I think it didn't tell us anything we didn't already know. Basically,
it wouldn't seem so, apart from the fact that we knew it was going to be about a year, didn't we? So yeah, okay. So public participation. We have Ian Setter here. Would you like to speak on behalf of a matter? Thanks.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I just wanted to raise a item that's been put on the North Somerset Planning Portal regarding the Tower Farm development, which is a application from the developer as to whether they need an environmental screening report to be carried out. It's not a planning application. There's a document on there from North Somerset saying it's not a planning application and it's not a public consultation, which seems a little bit off, but that's not the developer's fault. That's not North Somerset's fault. That's the planning process. But it seems a bit unfair that there's no opportunity for anyone to challenge anything that is put in the developer's report, justifying why they don't think they should have this environmental impact assessment. And there were a couple of things that I personally saw in it that I thought should be challenged. So just to quickly summarize some of those. Firstly, in a number of places, the report does quite rightly refer to Western Bigwood as an SSSI, but in some places it also calls it an SNCI and seems to forget about the SSI status. That's a site of nature conservation interest, which is a lesser designation with fewer protections. It also talks quite a lot in the report about the fact that they're going to planning to have a 50-metre buffer between their development and Western Bigwood, which, in their opinion, is adequate to protect the environments there. I think quite a few people in the town have including the council, have looked into that and don't think that 50 metres is sufficient. There's another section which talks about creating 10 hectares of green infrastructure, but there's no detail on where or what exactly that's going to be. They also talk about their intention to keep as much of the existing hedgerow as they can. Previously worked out there's probably about a mile, believe it or not, of hedgerow on the site. And looking at their plans, it's hard to see that they could maintain very much of that. And the final point I picked up on is there's a criteria that's called accumulation, which they are arguing that as there are no other development sites adjoining it, it doesn't. I think if there were other sites, it would be looked at as an accumulation issue, and that would trigger the need for the EIA. However, that seems to overlook the fact that yes, they're right that there aren't any developments next to it at Tower Farm, but the other side of Western Bigwood, there is another large development at the Blackrock site, which I think also should be taken into account when you're looking at accumulation. So yeah, that's what I wanted to raise it. As I said, it's not a public consultation, so I wasn't able to go on and make those comments. But if Portishead Town Council could do that and stress the importance and some of the evidence that you've already gathered on the importance of the site, then that would be much appreciated.
Thank you, Ian. Yes, just to reiterate the comment you made in relation to the 10 hectares of green infrastructure, including new woodland planting, habitat creation in the community park, this constitutes about a third of the site in total, doesn't it? Which is almost unsustainable. Thank you. Thanks very much. Bob, did you want to have a comment?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, good. Well, totally support what Ian said. I think the whole idea of them not having to do something, they're just playing the usual games that these developers do. The other problem is, of course, this is 500 this time. I mean, Paul and others will know that there has been talk about the whole distance between Valley Road and the Clevedon Road, all the way around Western Bigwood, being a development site. So they'll be coming back for some more afterwards. And then by splitting it up means they don't have to do certain things. That's just the games they play. Going back to the road monitoring, I find this, well, it's about as deceitful as you can actually get, isn't it? First of all, they do have to have permission. And I'm surprised Roger couldn't very easily just ask the person responsible at North Somerset Council, which I did last time they tried to do it, because they didn't have permission and they took them out within a few hours of putting them in. Secondly, they are in a most stupid position. They're well beyond where all the cars go and visit and turn and clog everything up every day. So, of course, they're not going to monitor that. I mean, people have talked about driving up and down and across it and all that. I mean, I'd cut the bloody wires because it's not right. They shouldn't be doing it. It's not in the right place. And then they're going to use those numbers and throw them back at us and say, well, there's no traffic there. It's not a problem. Of course it isn't, because they've gone down the cul-de-sac. They haven't bothered to do it where all the traffic comes in. And I think, again, Portishead Town Council should go back very firmly on that and say that if that's going to be the sort of company they are, then we'll play ducks and drakes with them the same.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob. DBW, did you wish to make any comments in the public participation section of the meeting? I take that as a no. Okay, thanks. Right.
We're going to take this item now, or are we going to?
Yeah, I'm going to bring it up.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so we move into the planning applications agenda. Are you all happy that the particular application in question is brought to the front of the agenda? Right, which is down at the end, 0300 EAI, Environmental Assessment Impact on the land at Tower Farm. Screening opinion request to determine as to whether the proposed development is EIA development, residential development of 400 dwellings, including the provision of community facilities and other associated infrastructure. This is not a planning application in big capitals, but discussion only. Right, the Portishead Town Council will be making a submission as a response to this. David very kindly has already drafted up most of a submission. And would you like to briefly talk through it or give us an indication of what you think is appropriate wording, some of which we've already obviously received from Ian?
Thanks, Mike. Very happy to. I was a bit concerned to see on the North Somerset portal the note saying that the Environmental Protection Officer had no issues to raise when looking through the report, and as a resident has just pointed out to us, there seem to be a number of potentially misleading statements in the report. The fact that Western Big Wood is an SSSI, and that isn't always referred to as such, is concerning. The proximity of the site to this rare piece of ancient woodland, for me, would be reason enough for an environmental impact assessment being carried out. The other issues that struck me on looking through the report were the mention of a gas pipeline running through the site, and it strikes me that if you're going to be developing in that area, you need to have considerable information about the extent of the gas pipeline, whether it's in use, whether it could be reused, and the potential environmental consequences if there was residual petroleum in the pipeline. Again, that struck me as being an issue we should raise in relation to the need for an EIA. We've heard about the issue or the concern about boundary hedgerows and the fact there are about a mile's worth on the site, and it seems difficult to see how those could be meaningfully replaced. I think a particular concern for us as a town council who have seen the proposed development of Black Rock is that the ancient woodland will be encircled by both a development at Tower Farm and Black Rock, and taken together they may capture, I think from memory looking at the site, around a third of the perimeter of Western Big Wood, which would severely compromise that wood's viability. And of course, having housing around that area would lead to light pollution, noise pollution, probably the involvement of pets from people who owned houses in this area, and further damage to what has already been shown to be fragile woodland. So I think we should raise all those concerns and ask that North Somerset Council reconsider the need for an EIA. And I'd urge the committee to support a letter to them along those sorts of lines, and together with the points that Ian has just raised. And I'm sure other committee members have got other thoughts.
Right, yes. Can I just remind committee that there is an ongoing report which hasn't been concluded yet, because it talks about going through most of 2026 to make further assessments. And that in itself does indicate, from what I understand and can read, that there should be an EI on the site. Paul, were you first?
Yeah, I spoke to Councillor Nicola Holland about this, I think yesterday, but so she'd been speaking to the planning officer, who's called Jason Mack, M-A-K. I guess the document you're referring to is a bit inconclusive. It kind of says, well, you know, maybe there should be an EAI.
Yeah.
The message from Nicola was that the North Somerset officer will call one in as long as one of the statutory consultees says it's needed. So we need to write in as we're doing, but we're not actually deemed a statutory consultee, which is pretty annoying, frankly. So there's again another planning process issue. But anyway, we should write in. But we as well as sending a letter to North Somerset, can I ask that we also copy it into Natural England as well? David, I didn't in one of those documents I sent you, I've got a couple of contact emails which I've used before. I would try them, but there's also a you know, like a standard inbox for Natural England as well. That's in the document, one of the documents I sent you. So we could copy it into there and make it clear to them that there's a considerable issue, because I fear that people are doing desk-based studies, and you know, assessing an ancient woodland and the environment around it is not best done by sitting behind your desk. So, in my humble opinion, so we need to make it clear to people what the issues are. And I'd also ask that we just append our submissions to the local plan, because obviously we have got 50 years of evidence of the precious environment around there. Obviously, from if you remember the study that was done in the 1980s. By Avon Wildlife Trust, and our own environmental study that we had done about 3.5 years ago now. So we have a massive amount of evidence around the environment, which goes into far more detail than either the developers submission or anything we've seen from North Somerset. So I think we just need to remind them, the people running the process, of all of that information. So,
Paul, could you remind us as to who else could be considered to be a consultee on this matter?
That's a very good point. Thanks, Mike. Yes, so it says ecology. I think that means the North Somerset Ecology Officer. So we need to copy them in as well. Do you know, Roger, who that is? Okay, we need to find out. There's probably only one of them. There used to be a couple in there, but there's probably, like, with cuts, there's probably only one left to me.
Probably doing 3 people's jobs.
Yeah, but anyway, there is a North Somerset Ecology Officer whose job it is to scrutinise planning applications.
So they'll be one of the consultees.
Yeah, so there will be the statutory, there's Natural England, that officer, yeah, and those are the key ones as well. So we need to get them on board. Yeah, okay, fine. All right, but all the other points, great, thank you. Yeah.
So I've got to say, when this one came up on the agenda, this is the first time I've seen an application of this type asking us our view on whether or not an EIA is required. So I'm not sure how long this has been going on for, but it's the first one I've ever seen. So the first thing I did was I referred to the government's website to see why it was that this may or may not be needed, and they made it quite clear. Environmental impact assessment helps to ensure that an authority giving development consent for a project makes its decision in the full knowledge of any likely significant environmental effects. So this is a greenfield site on the edge of an ancient woodland. Of course it needs one. I mean, I don't see it's even in question. It's, you know, if this doesn't need one, where else would ever need one? So yeah, I think our response should be quite plain. Yes, yes, it needs one.
Thank you very much on that wording. And I think along with that wording, plus some of what David's done and Ian's done, we'll draw something together tomorrow and get a response in. Sorry, Mariam.
I was wondering, Chair, I want to say really thank you so much to the member of the public for bringing this to our attention, because it's really important that you have representation. And I was wondering if it would carry any weight if we did have a petition from residents filling it out and just kind of, I don't know.
I think what we should do, we should publicise what we've done. I guess my judgment on the planning process is petitions don't really help much at this point in the process. And what we need to do is keep providing the facts to them. But as part of the communication for this meeting, we do need to tell the public about this and what we're doing about it. So we need a summary of that. Whilst I'm talking, Roger, question is this something that you can call in to North Somerset? Is this one of these, or Tim, is this one of these planning things that you can bring into the planning committee if the officer fails to spot the obvious?
I guess it is, as always, call-ins are by the ward councillor. So is that? I think that's Nicola for that one.
Nicola and Sue.
So yeah, we'd have to ask them to call it in.
Okay, so when we send this letter, obviously copy in Nicola and Sue as well, David, and then we'll follow up with if we have to with that call in. So yeah, okay, we just got to cover all the bases here. So
yeah. Mariam, in relation to the site, of course, there was, when it came through the local plan issue, there was a public consultation period then when a lot of people did get the opportunity of objecting or making comments in respect to that site, which a lot of people did, of course. So are you happy that we draw up the writing very shortly and then submit it, and we'll do as Paul suggested, try to get Natural England on board on this? Okay, shall we leave it there?
If I now leave, thank you very much.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, the resolution is that we'll do that. I mean, I don't think I'll propose it. Yeah, we're all in favour of it, yeah. Okay, thanks Paul for coming along. And moving on, then we'll just potter along through in the order in which they are in front of you on the agenda. So 2556, this is the barn at Caithness Court, reconstruction of the existing redundant stone storage barn, erection of a front porch and extension to first floor, conversion to one dwelling. Now you may recall that this came through back in the autumn. Councillor Burden is the applicant here, and it got refused by North Somerset Council. And it got refused on the grounds, it's a bit complicated really. The previous application was a CQA, Construction Quality Assurance, and they turned it down because it didn't constitute permitted development. Do you want me to read this? I will. Because the proposed works are considered to go beyond what is reasonably necessary for the conversion of a building to residential use and indicate that the existing agricultural building is not capable of functioning as a dwelling. So a proposal must comprise a conversion and not a rebuild to qualify as a permitted development. It is only where the existing building is already suitable for conversion to residential use that the building would be considered to have the permitted development right. And this failed to demonstrate that permitted development, as it's so derelict, it isn't considered suitable for conversion. And there was no structural survey submitted on that application. And so therefore they turned it down. Now, looking through the plans, I can't see any sign of a structural survey. Bower House seemed to have submitted the planning application almost identically to how it was, apart from the fact that it's now been designated as a full application. So what do we do about this? Because we passed it last time as being suitable building for reconstruction, for redevelopment into a dwelling, and North Somerset thought otherwise on this technicality, which it's beyond. I didn't realise. I didn't know. I realised this. So I'm not really sure where we stand on this in terms of I couldn't see any sign of a structural survey on. I don't know whether anyone's got it in front of us. I mean, as you can see up there, it's a nice development in proposal, and I think we all felt at the time when we discussed it that it was a suitable building for conversion into a dwelling. So should we just say that, Roger, are you happy to say something?
Yeah, no, I was going to say what I think you were about to say, actually. So carry on.
That we have no objections to it in principle being converted into a dwelling, and that subject to structural survey of some description or construction survey, then we're happy to not object. Proposed? Yeah, proposed. Seconded by Martin. All in favour then? Right. Thanking you. The third one on the list is the 0175. And again, we've discussed this in the past. That's land to the west of 43, the paddock, Portishead. And it's a request to discharge condition 5, the holiday let management plan on the application, which we discussed before. It's already been approved. So, end of story. The third one down. I did miss number 2. No.
If we're talking now about the land at Paddock,
Yes.
I do have a concern about that.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, it has been approved.
It has.
Yes.
Conditional on the owners supplying a management plan.
This is the management plan.
Yeah. And in the management, they were asked in the management plan to specify how the maximum length of stay at the.
Well, that's presumably now been approved. The condition that has been approved.
Has the management plan? I think that the use of the land has been approved. We're now being asked to sign off on the management plan that are asked as a condition.
We are, but it's already gone through.
Oh.
It was approved on the 27th of February.
Oh, we're too late. Okay. I mean, I think we ought to point out to the officer then that one of the conditions that approval was given on was that a maximum length of stay at the paddock would be specified in the management plan, and it hasn't been. So we're left with the situation, because I think some of us were concerned about the use of the land for this purpose. And if there's no maximum length of stay, then it could be used for purposes other than people having short stays there.
Well,
do you see the point I'm making?
I see your point, yes, and I'm happy that we submit some comment in respect to that, yes, or dig deeper and find out whether they have covered that in their letter of approval.
Was that
Martin.
not sorted on the last? Sorry. Was that not sorted on last time?
I don't recall, and I didn't go back through all the notes.
Okay.
Someone got it up in front of them? Do we have it?
No, I haven't got them, but I knew there was a probably about length of stay on this, and I thought the management had actually sorted that problem.
It somewhat surprised me, David, if they haven't already covered that. I mean, surely the office is going to be.
Plan. I did a word search on weeks and days, and I couldn't find a mention on the management plan that a length of stay had been mentioned. So my concern is it might have just been overlooked. It may be a very small and pedantic issue, but as the approval was given on a number of points being covered, one of which was that a maximum length of stay should be specified, and it hasn't been in the management plan.
No, I think it's a very fair point, because otherwise, as you rightly say, it could become a permanent dwelling in some respects. Yeah, almost. Roger, yes.
Yeah, all I could find in the plan was the one comment towards the end, I think, that said due to the lack of facilities, they would only allow short-term lets. But how long is short-term?
Indeed.
Yes, but that's all I could find in the report. But it does seem that North Somerset Council have actually approved that document anyway. So I'm not sure if there's much we can do, but I think we should at least flag it, shouldn't we?
Yeah. I think
even if it has no effect, we should put that out there.
Yeah. Okay. I think that we'll do that. Right then.
But can we make a proposal on that one then?
Yes, we're happy about that. And Roger proposed, and seconded by Martin there. Well, David, and all in favour then of doing that. Righty-ho. So we will backtrack now to 0017 105 High Street, a retrospective application for the change of use of offices. My apologies, going back. Use class E2 to form one dwelling, and this is class C3. If you've looked at the plans, you'll note that it was 8 individual offices in that building, which is only 2 doors away. And they're converting it back to a dwelling house if they haven't already done so. I didn't have any issues in respect to this. In fact, I didn't even know that it had 8 offices in it. And they're going to kind of model the frontage and make it look better, really, rather than one large car park. Marianne.
I just think it looks really nice as the floor plan on the inside. I think they've done it really, like they planned it out really well inside. I think it's nice.
I agree with you. Any further comments? Would you like to propose? Seconded by Martin. All in favour of approval on that one? Thank you. Right. 0189, full application, FUH to at 63 Brock End, proposed erection of a single-storey side extension with integrated garage. So I need to bring different glasses now. We've got it on the screen. There aren't any comments online. Any comments from the floor? Anyone? No? Proposer then? Yes? Seconded? Roger? All in favour of no objection? Carried. 0203 FUH 4 Nor Road. Proposed demolition of an existing conservatory with subsequent erection of a single-storey rear extension, creation of a front canopy and alteration extension to front roofing alongside the enclosure of existing side porch, fenestration and cladding alterations throughout. One objection online. So, it's a little pointer gone.
I was here, but if we do that, it will go back to the bill.
Ah, right.
Get rid of the slides when you.
We have been provided with a little pointer, but it's kind of clicks it back. Are you still printing them off?
You don't need to do that anymore. We've got paperless.
Well, I do, because since my oil, I've had my eyes tested, so I'm having trouble looking at that. So that's not even there. I'm sorry, I might have to put them on.
I think I took a screenshot of the objection. Does anyone have that in front of them?
I think it was a loss of privacy they'd mentioned.
Yeah, was that in that one?
Shall I read it out?
Yes, please, David.
So,
Yeah.
so the objection is from one of the neighbours. We're the owners of the neighbouring property situated below the application site with our rear garden directly adjoining the applicant's garden. We wish to state at the outset that we do not object in principle to the demolition of the existing conservatory and the erection of a single-storey rear extension. However, we have significant concerns regarding the impact of the proposed development on our privacy and residential amenity. As the application property sits next door and they're concerned about the differences in ground level, making the extension to be in a position for them to overlook the garden and their house. The submitted plans, they say, appear to show a new extension with level access directly onto the garden and patio area. Given the difference in land levels, because this is on a hill going up Nor Road, it appears that the proposed extension and adjoining patio area may be raised, but the drawings are unclear. So really, the person who is kind of okay in principle but worried about the levels is wanting clarity in the plans to reassure them that there won't be overlooking and what the different levels will be in relation to their garden. So their principal concern is loss of privacy. The main accommodation at the rear of their property is predominantly glazed, incorporating large bifold doors opening onto their patio. So due to the application, the elevated position of the application site, any increase in ground level and or patio level directly adjoining the extension would materially increase overlooking. I think without having looked at the plans and without going to the site in person, it's difficult, and without seeing the details of the plan, it's difficult to reach a judgment on this one.
I confess I've not been up there either, which is remiss of me, and I apologise. It's both on the front and rear elevation. It's quite a change, isn't it? And it's difficult, as David's pointing out, as the neighbours are indicating, that it's difficult to kind of get that perspective in relation to the changing ground levels, and we can only surmise that if it's going to overlook, they're thinking that it's going to overlook their privacy and rear garden a lot, then we can only take it on granted that it probably is. Did any comments?
My sense of this one is that we should point out the concerns of the resident who's looking for clarity, really, and the judgment of the planning officer regarding any overlooking in relation to planning regulations.
So should we say that we consider that there's a prospective overshadowing and overdevelopment in relation to the privacy of the adjoining neighbour? Roger?
I was just going to say, just for clarity here, this is number 4 Nor Road, which I believe is opposite the entrance to White Lodge Park. So it's at the cab stand end of Nor Road, almost nearly at Battery Road. And therefore, which property is the one who's complaining? Because the one directly behind it is actually on Beach Road. Is that east or west? That one? Beach Road West, isn't it? On Beach Road West. And there's quite some gap between those. So is it that one, or is it the one further down the hill towards cab stand who's complaining, the one by the side rather than the one behind? Because it seems to imply it's the one behind, but the one behind's quite a way away. So I was a little like, oh, well, that doesn't feel like an overlooking issue because there's quite a lot of garden between the two. But are they do I have the wrong neighbour is what I'm concerned about on that one.
Well, you've raised a good point, actually, Roger, because when I did look at this some while back, because I used to know the previous occupant of this house as a fellow cyclist, and long since moved away. But yeah, I felt that I didn't have any issues with it. And it's the sort of property that you feel is conducive to being modernized in that way. So yes, I take your point in relation to the actual neighbours. And I'm looking at Google Earth here now.
So looking at what they said, we are the owners of the neighbouring property situated below the application site. So that would be 2A then.
Yeah, you're right.
Not the one directly behind. So I could see how, I mean, it's on a hill, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
this. So you can see that there will be a significant difference in level between those two properties.
But there's also quite a physical gap between the two houses.
But less that way than there was the other way. So yeah, and I think probably at this stage we should go with, was it David's suggestion that we approve subject to the concerns of the neighbour being taken into account?
I think so. Yeah, I mean,
I guess the planning officer will know the address of the neighbour, which is not clear to us on looking at the planning portal. I've missed that point, which it could be the Beach Road West house, which looks like number 4 Beach Road West, or it could be 2A Nor Road.
So wording then, we're approving subject to the investigation of the neighbour's complaint. Okay, David proposed, seconded by Roger. Favor, yeah. Okay, thank you. Now, tricky one coming up, 0206 FUH, 28 South Road, retrospective again, application for the erection of a timber boundary fence, raised rear decking and associated external steps. Now, I know that you've been to the site today, David, and had a look and submitted some, and you've been, Tim, thank you, and submitted some photographs, so we are aware of the situation there. Again, we had the neighbours or the applicants turned up here back in the autumn, didn't they, months ago, when we discussed this application, and we didn't feel there's any issue with it. It's pretty substantial. I can't disagree on that point. So would you like to make a comment, please?
It is quite a large decking that's been put down, and they found out that it needed planning for the decking, but their problem was that they didn't realise that they need planning for that amount of decking, because the rest of the country it's the larger, and for North Somerset it's a smaller amount of decking you can put down. And then the other issue is with the fence. On their side it looks really good, looks lovely, it's really nice, but then you go into next door in number 30 and the fence is quite overbearing. And I spoke to the lady and she did say she would be happier if the sheeting was taken off from the inside of the fence, because it's got random writing on it's almost like an insulation thing. I don't understand why it's there. And she'd be happier if the fence is lowered a bit, and also the top of the fence have a bit of trellis to let the light in, because she's feeling a bit blocked out.
You have photographs there, Martin, do you? I mean, certainly this triangular piece of the fence going up to up to the second floor window, isn't it? It looks overbearing, certainly.
Someone shows it. Well, I think it's pretty poor, isn't it? Really.
In respect to not having finished it off on the neighbour's side, it's a bit disrespectful, yes.
Yeah, it would have looked a lot better if it was tidy on both sides, not just the one side.
Yeah.
It's all right this side, isn't it? I guess that must be.
So I sense that we are minded to object to this on the grounds that we feel that the top section, the triangular section, is too intrusive into the neighbour's property, and that the finish of the fence on the side of number 30 isn't finished correctly.
In the objection raised online, which Martin's got copies of there, I think the neighbour who's concerned comes up with a very sensible compromise plan. And I think we should suggest that to North Somerset.
Make note of that.
Their suggestion is, could you please lower that?
It's a fair difference from what it originally was, isn't it?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah.
His solution was
could we take a copy of that, Martin, for tomorrow?
Yeah,
when we write up
well, take it. I've got it online. It's just
okay. Well, we'll just make a note of what you're going to tell us. What
Yeah,
it
yeah.
says.
He's saying if they took the top section of this down, the top section of the black membrane to be removed, and 45 of the slats. I guess that's these things. And this should allow the top section of the fence structure to be more open to the sun, breeze, and air into his garden.
Right.
And stop the overbearing pendant feeling and overshadowing on the sides of his garden, because he can't grow anything, he thinks, or he won't be able to.
Okay. We'll use that wording then, and would
by all means.
Yeah. Would you like to
have a look?
Submit?
You got it there a bit.
Greatest height, the fence in the back garden is, I think, about 12 feet.
Okay.
That's the top of the triangle. Elsewhere, it's about 7 feet, which seems to be excessive.
Look, the kitchen window.
So, Tim, are you proposing that we send an objection in respect to that section at the top and the fencing changes?
Yes, propose.
All right.
Propose the objection to that.
Seconded by Bob.
Sorry, can I just get understanding of this? So we were proposing an objection. Are we also proposing that we provide the amicable solution that's been provided by
yes,
the
in this
resident?
wording,
Yeah.
that it's replaced with a piece of trellis, and that
yeah, thank you.
The other side of the fence is tidied up, made respectable. Seconded by Bob. All in favour then of?
Sorry, can I just just thinking we're proposing that we object to the planning application going ahead, and then we're proposing an alteration to the planning application. So should we maybe propose that it's accepted conditional upon, which would seem the more correct way of doing it, because we don't really want to object. We want to have it changed. Yeah,
it's retrospective, Roger. It's all there already.
Yeah, so no, I understand it's retrospective, but we're supposed to deal with it as if it's not been built yet, even though it's a retrospective. So usually you'd say we would raise no objections subject to the following condition being added to the planning application.
Yeah,
it's a small tweak, but I think it's
We're all happy about that. Okay,
yeah,
we'll all approve of that. Right. So 0211 AOC on 10 Blenheim Way, requested discharge condition 3, construction method statement, and 4, cycle storage from application 25P 1161, which we dealt with last year as well. Any comments in relation to that one? There aren't any observations, no. Nope.
No, can't see a problem with that.
I'll propose an objection, seconded by Martin there. Yep. Carried. 3 Bristol Road, 0219. Retrospective application for the conversion of garage workshop to form a bedroom.
I couldn't see what they were up against. I actually understood what I couldn't see it on the computer. What he's doing, in fact, is
Speaking to the mic, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. What he's proposing is changing the existing garage into a bedroom and keeping enough driveway for 2 cars anyway. So it's just a conversion of the bedroom, the garage into a bedroom, as far as I can see.
It's upstairs into a little.
Yeah, but it exists anyway.
There are no comments online about this. Do I take that to Roger? You wanted to make a comment?
No, only to say that I think we should approve subject to parking regulations being met.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Right.
Happy about that, Martin? You
Yeah.
happy to propose that one?
Yeah,
then?
fine, I'll propose that one.
Yeah. Thank you, Marianne.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Subject to Grace has made a note of that. 0220 2 Rally Rise. Proposed erection of a lower ground floor side extension and ground floor front extension, expansion of existing rear balcony, creation of side balcony with external stairway and expansion of existing patio. No comments online.
Which one?
Rally Rise, we've dealt with.
So from the road, it looked like there was no view to any of the neighbors either. So it doesn't look like it's impacting anybody else. It doesn't look like it's impacting any of the neighbors anyway.
And a number of these have been altered, haven't they, in one way or another?
Yeah, so
Any comments from anyone?
no, it's fine.
No objection.
Propose approval.
Propose approval. No objection. Seconded by. Oh, Bob, choose you. Yeah. Right. 0233 for Marconi. Proposed demolition of the existing conservatory and erection of a part 1 story and a part 2 story rear extension and raised rear terrace. 2 objections online in respect to overdevelopment. And
It looks like it's a very big development as well.
I read the objections and I felt minded to agree with them. Did anyone have any further comments to make? Because I feel that this is overdevelopment.
Absolutely, I think it's well over the top.
Okay.
I don't. Are there any others in the street that were done like that? I couldn't see it when I looked online.
I'm not sure.
And I know it faces north, doesn't it? And not into Morricone Road. Am I right in thinking that?
It just looks like it's another house attached to this house. So it's
Well, it does rather, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a substantial change, isn't it?
Yeah.
In both the appearance. I mean, I think we have made comments in respect to this road and development, 1970s development, I think, isn't it, Marconi? Before, in respect to the style of the houses, and this is quite considerable change.
Just doesn't fit the area, does it at all? And it's overbearing, to my mind.
Yep.
On top of that.
Yep. I don't disagree with you. Any further comments? Because we'll object to this on overdevelopment and
architectural vandalism. That's what I'm saying.
well, we'll appropriately word that.
That's a good point.
Not conducive to the street scene. David, you're humming and hawing or something?
I just say I didn't feel quite as strongly as you guys because this development is all out the back of the house. And looking at the pictures up there, if you look at the top left, which is the street view, on the 2 slides, compare the left image, which is the existing, and the right image with the proposed. The 2 look pretty similar, so the street view isn't going to change so much. For sure, the back is going to change, but that's not going to impact on the street view. So, I'm happy to go with the majority on this, but I certainly would feel minded not to object.
Well, I confess I do need those glasses. Yes. Okay. So it's the neighbours objecting to the overdevelopment at the rear, which is going to probably impact their lifestyle.
I couldn't get an image of that, to be honest, and I've not been up to have a look. It is higher up than the what's the road? What's the road that runs underneath? Is that an issue? I've forgotten now.
Denny View, I think it's
Denny View, yes. No, I still think the same.
Are you looking at what, Google Earth or?
This is
because there are two objections, I'm assuming that there could be neighbours both sides.
Yeah, all the one at the rear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a particularly small garden.
It is, yes.
Yes, I think that's noted by one of the comments.
The garden comes at an angle.
Right.
So it's literally the garden next to it is bigger and it comes at a triangle up. Next garden. It shortens the garden. It shortens the garden.
So from what you're looking at there, would you consider it to be overdevelopment?
It looks like it's 70% extra to the size of the house itself on the floor plan.
So I just say, Bob, you don't often get this from the plans, unfortunately, because the plans just show the bits they're actually doing. But when you actually look at the site, you can see what a huge development this is in proportion to the amount of garden, as Bob was going to show you on that.
You can see the garden next to it. So this is the house next to it.
Yeah.
But obviously, as it's coming down, the garden's actually a lot smaller.
So the applicant is which one?
This one.
That one there.
And then when we look at it from
There's quite a development on the size of that house.
actual other development, that's going to stand out.
So the
But it's not really viewable from the street.
So it's this house here.
which has got the conservatory on it at the
At the
moment.
moment, yeah.
So they're removing that conservatory.
So they're going to expand it, so their gardens are literally going to be like that. Compared to, that's what I say, it's because of the angle of it, so the garden's quite small.
You reckon they'll come out as far as that kind of grey square?
Absolutely, yeah.
But the ones to the left of them, they've done it already, haven't they?
No, they haven't.
That's not.
What, this one here?
Yeah.
No.
That's different.
No, yeah, but look at the
So you-
look at the roof.
Yeah, that's what they're.
There's no difference in roofing. You would have a difference.
So shall we say that we object on the grounds of development, overburdening the neighbouring properties in
I think
view of
so.
its size?
Yeah.
All right. You're abstaining.
Yeah,
David.
fair enough.
Fair enough.
Did you get the wording on that?
Right. Someone.
Yes. Okay, proposed, seconded.
Favour.
You abstaining?
Well, no,
No, I'm not.
no.
I go the other way.
Oh, okay. Object. Right, fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. Okay, it was carried anyway. 5 in favour, 1 against, and 1 abstention.
There's no reason they can't come back with just a little bit of an amended plan.
Which often happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed, yeah.
And hopefully then it will satisfy the neighbours, etc.
Something like just go big, see what it come out with.
So 0252 LDP on 85 Merlin Park, which is a certificate of lawful development for the proposed removal of the centre pillar on the existing garage and the installation of a new lintel and new larger electric garage door to replace the 2 existing doors together with a single side door. Anyone object to this one?
Planning permission.
Well, they clearly think it
No,
does
we
need
don't.
an LDP, yes.
We
No
don't-
objection?
We don't, no objection. No.
It's a lawful development certificate,
Yeah.
which is to say they're trying to get confirmation they don't need planning permission to do
Oh,
it.
thank you, Roger.
That's all it is. So, so I don't think they need planning permission, but the officer will know for certain. So I've got no objections.
Proposer. Seconded. All in favour. That's good. There are no comments online, as you would expect. 0262, 2 Burford Close. Demolition of existing conservatory and the proposed construction of a 2-storey rear extension and alterations to the existing single-storey roof to form additional living accommodation. One comment online, much on the same grounds as Marconi. They feel it's overdevelopment of the site in terms of its height and the pitch roof, and that it will have an impact on their living standards in the adjoining house and garden.
Yep.
Personally, looking at the plans and what they wrote, I couldn't. I couldn't disagree. I think it's certainly on the right-hand image. You can see the pitched extension there, and it does have an impact, or will probably have an impact on their garden. Comments from the floor? Or should we just say objection on the grounds of overdevelopment?
Yeah.
And impact on the adjoining neighbour?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really tight down there. Very tight.
David, your comments in relation to the rear garden extension here?
Show David your screen.
That's tight. That is really tight. There's a really narrow garden.
It's very tight.
I mean, I think they're making in the comment that it could get reduced in height. They have suggested some
Yeah, they could,
other.
if you look at obviously that's the conservatory at the moment, so that's got you literally blocking them already. So if they're going to, if that's going to turn into a 2-story, is that 2-story this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to literally take everything from their garden.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. Objection, I propose, seconded by Tim. Yeah, we're on. I'd see the hand going up. So, right. We've done 0300.
Sorry, did we state what you were going to put on that one?
Yes. Grace has written it. I think objection on the grounds of overdevelopment and the impact on the adjoining neighbour. So we've done the next one, and the final one on this little batch is 0319, which is the One Harmony Drive, proposed conversion of existing garage to form livable space and erection of a single-story rear extension. I have no objection to this.
I thought it looked really cute. I thought it looked really well designed.
Did
I did.
you?
I think it because it's all single story, isn't it? The whole building.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the floor plan looked really good.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Minutes, okay.
one story bungalows.
We don't have an objection anyway.
Propose no objection.
No objection.
Seconded. David, all in no objection. Yep. Carried.
Yeah, can I just say something here? Obviously, with we're bound to see a lot of these proposals for change of garage into dwellings. We're all well aware of the situation with the younger generation that are struggling to buy homes. I've got no choice myself. I think my partner's son will be moving into our garage, and at some point we'll be looking to convert that properly. I think it's everybody's need these days, and sadly, it's what's happening.
Times, yep.
Roger.
Can we just do on all of these? In fact, going forwards from here, can we do on all of these whenever there is a garage being converted into living space, that we highlight that any agreement we have to it being done is subject to parking standards being adhered to? Because I'm happy for people to convert their garages as long as it's not going to overburden our roads with more and more cars parked on the road because we're giving up actual parking spaces. So I think in the future and on these we should probably add that to everything, just to make sure that that's being flagged every time.
Just to say, if I do come for an application, my garage has got a drive as well, so I still can get my car in it.
Well, that slightly depends on the number of people living in the property and the number of vehicles. David. Oh yeah, that one, it's been printed on this side. Yeah. So it's just that it came, in the format. I've got it in front of me. Yes, 03376 Redcliffe Close. Proposed removal of existing conservatory, erection of a single-story rear extension, and conversion of an existing garage to form livable space. Creation of raised rear decking and replacement alteration of fenestration and finishings. This is tucked down Redcliffe Close, no impact on neighbours. We'll throw Roger's comment in. So I propose no objection on this.
Yeah. Are we going to say? Are we going to say subject to car parking space?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So seconded by Bob. No objection anywhere. Okay. Two further applications here, both of which relate to the Portishead branch line 0303 and 0310. Have you been through them? I mean, they're very interesting because it gives a timeline for all the development going forward, and the commencement of those sorts of major works in April. You've probably seen the site now. It's cleared of all vegetation down at the station, and they've cut back the vegetation on the Portbury 100 for the big compound going in there. So yeah, it's all happening, isn't it? Definitely.
Fantastic.
Bring it on. David?
Bring it on.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, no, it's fantastic to see this. The only thought I had with these, because one of them is the communications plan, and it looks to me from reading that the communications for Portishead and Pill residents will come via North Somerset Council. And I wondered whether we shouldn't ask for comms Facebook posts to come to Portishead Town Council separate from North Somerset Council. Can we miss out the middle person?
Which one are you referring to? Was it?
Or was that compound?
Maybe I'm jumping ahead of myself. This is the train comms plan, is it? Or is...
Well, we've got the two applications from Portishead branch line on my.
So one of them is the comms plan. Timeline and maps, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so both of these are requests to discharge requirements, but notwithstanding that, there may be something in there about comms plan. However, the comms plan is quite complex and has to be agreed between the contractor, Metro West, WECA, and everybody else. Hence, it's being sort of put together by North Somerset Council. So I'm sure that we are on their comms plan so that when they put a release out, it will come to us, and then Portishead can put its own release out. But it's taken an awful lot of work to try and get a plan together that everyone can agree to. So I don't think it's a good idea to try and change that now.
I mean, it's certainly a pretty complex and thorough document.
Yeah, I found the plan now, and I take Roger's points on board. I just wondered whether it'd be, an additional, be helpful for some stuff to come to us directly as well. So this is page 10 of their comms plan, where they talk about the channels they're going to use for disseminating information about line, and they're going to use Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
We're one of the consultees, are we, in relation to all this? They'll let us know, I'm sure. When
I don't
know. We copied in on pretty much all comms to do with Portishead.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We copied in on pretty much all comms to do with Portishead. It comes into the town council here, and you may see our comms people in Portishead Town Council put out an awful lot of posts which originally came from North Somerset. So I'm pretty sure I'm in the comms planner meeting every month. I'll mention it and just make sure that we are getting included in that as well.
Good. Thank you. And inevitably there will be a fair amount of disruption on Harbour Road and Keys Avenue. Right. Tree Works. Any comments in relation to the 4 applications there from anyone? No. Yeah, Tim.
One of them is my workplace
Oh, yes,
17 all
you're right. I noticed that. Yeah. I'm not sure whether that is a declaration of interest, is it particularly? It'll probably give you a better view into when they crown the top of it. Okay. So the lake planning applications and consultations, there was one, which I think was a telecommunications mast, wasn't it? Yeah, there was only the one this time. What are we looking at there, Grace?
It's just the presentation we put together for the
Looking
frontline stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yes, there it is. Look, there, flashing on the screen. Grace has gone to all this trouble to put it there. Please have a look. There's the timeline.
Thank you, Grace. That's really
That's-
nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's very, very detailed, isn't it?
Can I just say as well, one of the residents that we have said that he moved to Portishead in 1979 in hope of a train.
Yeah.
And he's now waited this long and we finally are getting there. So thank you, everyone.
Indeed. Well, I hope if it was him, I hope they travelled on it in 1985 when the last passenger train did come down here on a special, which was celebrating TWR's 150th anniversary.
When did they cut the service?
64.
Yeah.
It was like I thought it was like mid-60s, and then like late 70s. He said it to be back. That was a big hope.
Yes.
Wow.
September the 7th, 1964, it closed
Indeed it did.
on my 13th birthday. So there we go. Right.
It's a great run
Mm.
all the way down the gorge. And
Well-
as was mentioned, bridge.
Well, it is, but there are so many trees that are now grown up
Well-
between the river and the railway that you probably won't see much of the river.
Probably not.
Right. So for information only, there you've got all the ones that did or didn't get approved. One which was a surprising one was the one at the Methodist Church. The men's shed got refused. Hmm.
Interesting.
You did?
I did too.
Oh, you
I
did,
didn't
right.
think about it being noisy or something out of hours. And
That
maybe-
don't make noise.
There was complaints. I think there were resident complaints about it.
Yes, it
And I
was.
think we just pointed them to that and yeah.
But-
It's not all.
The HMO did go through on the high street, yes, above the school. Solar panels on the south-facing roof, which again was a bit of a surprise because it doesn't really overlook anyone. You can't see it from the main road either. Right. Item 11 on the agenda is traffic calming measures for Cabstown Nor Road for discussion. Now, David has an update on this one because you have been pursuing it in relation to applications that have been submitted to the highways for an extension to the 20 miles an hour speed limit and other things.
Thanks, Mike. Can I ask for this to be postponed to next month? Because I'm aware that there was a conversation today between our clerk and an officer at North Somerset Council about it. So we'll have more information next month.
Yeah.
I'd hoped we'd have more information about this week, but we haven't. So if we could put it on the agenda for next month's meeting, that'd be great.
Sure. Yep. Right, fine. So the final item is just to say that the next meeting's on All Fools Day. Although, of course, it's past midday, so no April Fools from anyone, thank you.